Do you suffer from the headache and pain of juggling your business cash flows? Do you lose sleep worrying about how you are going to fund your current projects or orders, let alone consider taking on more customers to really grow your business? Maybe you need cash to fuel the growth of your business, whether that's through advertising, expanding your workplace, taking on more staff, or diversifying your products or services. But you don't know how or where you can access funds. Many business owners think, all I need is more cash and my problems will be solved. I'll just take out a mortgage or overdraft. I'll borrow more money to put into my business. Not only are they risking their assets as security for loans, more cash will only mask the underlying cash flow problem for a short time. It doesn't actually solve the underlying problem. To actually solve these problems for good, without needing to borrow money, you need to understand your cash conversion cycle. Many businesses suffer from long cash conversion cycles. Long cycles slow the flow of cash into and out of your business, and this is often referred to as a cash flow problem. Your business can be highly profitable, but unless there's cash flowing in and out of your business at the right times, your business can stagnate. In fact, the single biggest cause of business failure in Australia is poor cash flow management. It's a big risk that can be minimized by managing your cash conversion cycle. Effectively managing your cash conversion cycle is the key to eliminating cash flow problems and unlocking funds that are currently locked away in your business as working capital. In these videos, I'm going to show you what the cash conversion cycle is and how it can lead to cash flow problems. I'll show you why more money is not the solution to cash flow problems. I'll show you where and how you can access cash that's currently locked away in your business. And I'll show you how you can do it without taking on any debt, without impacting your suppliers or customers, and without making any changes to the way you do business or who you do business with. I'll show you real solutions that are simple to implement and work immediately. Let's start by looking at what the cash conversion cycle is and how it impacts your business cash flows. Let's consider a timeline to represent the time from paying your suppliers to receiving income from your customers. This time gap is called the cash conversion cycle. Why? Because it's the amount of time it takes for you to convert every dollar you put into your business through supplier payments to profits taking back out of your business through customer payments. Long cash conversion cycles are expensive to maintain and can be difficult to manage. Juggling the gaps between supplier payments and customer receipts is often a major cause of strain and stress on a business. Throw in those occasions where you are banking on customers paying on time, but the payments are delayed, and you have the perfect recipe for stress. Not all businesses will have long cash conversion cycles. Long cycles are typical of certain industries, but depending on each business's supplier and customer terms, any business could have this problem. Many businesses have multiple customers at any one time, so a timeline can be drawn for each customer. With multiple customers, your expense outflows and income inflows may overlap somewhat, but in many industries, customers have common payment terms, such as end of month plus 30 days or end of month plus 45 days. This results in bulk payments coming into your business at fixed times. Conversely, supplier payments aren't normally evenly spread during the month. Bulk expenses can occur when raw materials or stock is ordered for new projects or purchase orders, when lease payments are due, or if you have your own standard payment terms for your suppliers. As a result, the flow of cash into and out of your business is typically lumpy. Throw in seasonal effects and you start to see that managing cash flow isn't easy. Each timeline in your business impacts your overall cash conversion cycle. So the number of customers you can have, that is, the size of your business, is limited by your capacity to fund each cash conversion cycle. Let's focus on one timeline to understand how the cash conversion cycle works. Every business will have their own unique timelines depending on their supplier payment terms, the time it takes for the business to manufacture and deliver their products or service to the customer, and their customer credit demands. Suppliers includes every expense your business has. Raw materials, wages, which could be monthly, fortnightly or weekly, fixed overheads such as lease payments, even the ATO. Your suppliers will be paid at different times along this timeline. But to understand the cash conversion cycle, let's look at a main supplier expense taking cash out of your business at this point. This could be raw materials or expensive supplies. You will notice that there can be a considerable amount of time between having to pay your suppliers and receiving your customer payments. This gap in time means that in order to just keep operating, you need what's called working capital. This is cash that you put into your business so that you can pay all of your suppliers while you wait for your customers to pay you. Now, consider that this one timeline represents a business as it is today. If this business was to double in size, we will draw an additional timeline representing the additional supplier and customer payments. Accepting that not all supplier expenses will double, you can see that in order to finance this second timeline, you need more working capital. Add another timeline and you need more yet again. This is why business owners will say, I need more cash. They can see that in order to grow their business, they need more working capital. But this is because they are operating with long cash conversion cycles. What if I could show you how the cash conversion cycle can be managed so that there's no need for such large amounts of working capital? When the cycle is shortened, you need less working capital to run your business. With the same working capital, your business could grow larger than in the original scenario, or you could run at your current size without risking as much working capital. What if your cash conversion cycle looked like this, where you receive customer payments before making supplier payments? In this scenario, you don't need to add any of your own funds as working capital. The funds locked away as working capital in the original scenario are now free to be used to grow your business, be it through advertising, hiring staff, expanding premises, diversifying stock. Whatever you know will grow your business can now be funded because you're receiving profits before paying expenses. In part 2, we'll look at some scenarios to understand why the cash conversion cycle needs to be minimized. Its impact reaches beyond just your cash flows. Is it possible to change and manage your cash conversion cycle? Yes, absolutely. But before explaining how, let's talk about why you might want to minimize your cash conversion cycle. I've shown you that minimizing the cycle is the key to growing your business without borrowing money. It allows you to unlock cash in your business that is currently inaccessible. These are funds that sit in your business, filling the gap between supplier payments and customer receipts. By managing your cash conversion cycle, you can extract these funds out of your business and redeploy them into growing your business. Minimizing your cash conversion cycle is the efficient way to manage your cash flows. When your cash conversion cycle is minimized, there's no fat in your working capital. Every dollar you put into your business is turned into profit in the shortest possible time. With the shortest possible cash conversion cycle, you are maximizing profits at minimal cost. It's only when you get to this stage and still need more funds that you start to look at other options. Let's consider how an efficient business fares against its competitors. In order to understand this concept, let's look at two identical businesses at the same start point in their timeline with the same cash conversion cycle. We'll call this one B for borrow and this one C for conversion. Both businesses are going well and poised for growth, but with their current cash conversion cycles and working capital, they can't grow. Business B either doesn't understand the cash conversion cycle or chooses to ignore it. So they elect to borrow funds secured against business or personal assets, such as the family home, to increase their amount of working capital. With these extra funds, they are able to finance another timeline. During this growth phase, the business owner is happy. They then get to the stage of another growth opportunity. They are back to the problem of needing more cash, but this time they don't have the capacity to borrow more. they've exhausted their borrowing capacity. It's at this stage that business B stagnates and the business owner is frustrated. Meanwhile, business C does understand the cash conversion cycle, so they elect to minimise this first before looking at borrowing funds. The efficiency gains will vary depending on a few factors, so let's split C into CP and CN. CP is where the efficiency gains have produced a minimised but positive cash conversion cycle, while CN is where the gains have resulted in a negative cash conversion cycle. Note that with a negative cycle, the business receives income before having to pay suppliers. There's no working capital. So how much can CP grow just by minimising their cash conversion cycle? Well, we've freed up this amount of cash, which can immediately fund an extra 2 timelines. They've exceeded the level of growth of business B and have done so without taking on debt and risking security. At this point, CP accesses borrowed funds, as did business B, but because their cash conversion cycle is small, they can expand a further 3 times with the same amount of working capital. The result is that with the same resources and options available to them, business CP grows to be much larger than business B. Now let's look at business CN. Because CN is receiving income before paying suppliers, they are able to reinvest their income into their business to generate more profits before paying expenses. In this scenario, each dollar invested into the business turns into profit more than once before coming out to pay suppliers. This business is generating more and more profits automatically. As they build their cash reserves, they can grow their business organically. Will they ever come to a working capital limit? No. In this scenario, cash flow and working capital will never be a problem. In theory, they could grow to infinite size. Will this business be one of the 40% that fail due to poor cash flow? Not likely. Looking back at business B, there's nothing stopping them from minimising their cash conversion cycle after they've exhausted their borrowing capacity. But if you were this business, would you prefer to grow to your ideal size in a risky, inefficient way? Or would you prefer to grow without taking on unnecessary risk in an inefficient business? Before moving on, I'd like to highlight that running a business is only part of our lives. Most of us don't want to work forever, but we do want to enjoy a limitless life. And in order to do so, we need to build a portfolio of assets that provide us with passive income. For the vast majority of the wealthy, business is a vehicle through which they generate income, and they invest that income into another vehicle in which they store their wealth and derive passive income. As an example, it could be high-yielding property or a dividend-paying share portfolio. The key to building long-term sustainable wealth is to understand that money needs to flow from your business via profits into long-term high-yielding assets. Where is the money flowing in business B? Initially, it's going the wrong way. It will take much longer for business B to build long-term wealth than it does for business CP and CN. The owner of business B needs to work much longer than his competitors in order to achieve the same outcomes. Meanwhile, business CN can start to build their investment portfolio from day one, not only from business income, but using their existing equity to invest in more assets. So, which model would help you achieve a limitless life? In the next part, we'll look at how to minimize the cash conversion cycle. To understand how to minimize the cash conversion cycle, we need to start by understanding the elements that go into determining how long the cycle is. Using our timeline, we can see that the cash conversion cycle is determined by 3 variables. 1. How long you have from receiving supplies to needing to pay your suppliers. 2. There may be a production phase or stock turnover phase or service delivery phase, followed by 3. The credit demands of your customer. That is, how long your customer wants to delay paying you. These are the 3 aspects determining your cash conversion cycle. We can see that ideally we will want to pay suppliers as late as possible, turn over stock quickly as possible, and get paid by customers as soon as possible. Depending on each business's circumstances, the end result could be a short positive cycle, a neutral cycle, or a negative cycle where you get paid before having to pay suppliers. If you haven't already noticed, taking out a loan or an overdraft to add cash to this cycle does nothing towards altering these three variables. Borrowed funds does nothing to reduce your cash conversion cycle. That's money that you could better invest elsewhere, as we learnt in part 2. So how do you achieve these outcomes? Well, as a business financier, I can't help you sell your products or services quicker, but I can help you get paid as soon as possible and help you delay your outgoings for as long as possible without any impact on your customers or suppliers and without having to change the way you do business or who you do business with. How can this be done? Through tailored business finance solutions such as invoice finance and supplier finance. Invoice finance is a solution that brings your customer payments forward, reducing your cash conversion cycle on your customer side, while supplier finance is a solution that allows you to delay your supplier payments without impacting your suppliers, reducing your cash conversion cycle on your supplier side. These tools help you minimize your cash conversion cycle so that your business is free from the cash flow barriers that stop many businesses from succeeding. But be warned, cash flow finance comes in many different guises, some of which are simply loans dressed as cash flow solutions. You need to understand some basic information on how these facilities work and the traps to avoid in order to find a solution that works for you. Even though cash flow finance is a common form of business finance, the single biggest reason for business failure is poor cash flow management. This alone is a red flag to highlight that there are many wrong facilities out there for your business. Understanding the key differences between these facilities will increase your likelihood of finding one that works best for you. You don't want to find yourself locked into a facility that simply sucks money out of your business without providing you with real benefits. I've put together a suite of videos and blogs that provide the information you need to be able to make an informed decision on which finance facility your business needs in order to fully thrive. You can access the content on my website and YouTube channel all for free. Simply visit www.capitalizebusinessfinance.com.au or search for Capitalized Business Finance on YouTube. After learning about cash flow finance basics, if you still have questions or would like an obligation-free discussion on your business situation, feel free to contact me at any time. I'm here to help. Thank you.